Hello, I'm Henrik Ved Jensen, your host of the Circular Economy Excellent podcast. In today's episode, I have enlisted the help of two AI-powered voices, two artificial minds, to discuss chapter 4 of my book, which focus on the first R, Redesign and Reinvent. I wrote this chapter to assist manufacturers in fundamentally reshaping their products and business models, ensuring they have the foundation for true circular business success. This isn't a minor tweak. It requires rethinking and adjusting everything from internal KPIs and upstream and downstream supply chains to product design and business models, aligning every aspect with circular principles. I also recommend utilizing the Crossing the Chasm framework to navigate the common dilemma, balancing the fear of missing out and the fear of being early during this massive economic shift. Sit back as my AI co-hosts discuss key insights, real-world examples, and practical steps to help you get started.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're cracking open Chapter 4 of Circular Economy Opportunities and Pathways for Manufacturers.
By Henrik H. Jensen, right?
That's the one. And it's all about how companies can actually redesign themselves for success, in the circular economy.
Yeah, it's interesting. He really emphasizes that it's not just about tweaking a few products here and there.
Right.
It's really a complete shift in thinking
about
how their entire business models really need to be rethought.
So a redesign revolution.
Totally.
That's a catchy title.
Yeah, and it's everything from design to how products are used and eventually how we can recover them.
So the chapter mentions adaptable and repairable. Upgradable products. Imagine keeping your phone for years. Because you could easily just swap out parts or get it fixed.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Absolutely. But that also presents some big challenges internally for companies.
I bet.
Because it's not just about the new designs. It's retraining staff, adapting production lines, even changing how success is actually measured. Because we're so ingrained with selling more units that there needs to be a major culture shift.
So companies almost have to unlearn everything they know about traditional manufacturing.
In a way, yes. And so one thing that Jensen really stresses in this chapter is life cycle assessment.
Okay.
Or what's called LCA.
LCA.
And he brings up a good example of the Apple iPhone 13, because they're now incorporating 100% recycled rare earth elements in the magnets and recycled aluminum in the phone enclosures.
Wait, even Apple's doing LCA.
Well, yeah.
I thought they were all about new models every year.
They are. And that's why this is so interesting, because even a company that's known for its rapid product cycles is starting to think about resource use and the environmental impact of their products, from creation to disposal.
Okay.
It's a small step, but a significant one.
So LCA is kind of like a product sustainability report card.
Yeah.
Helps companies make more informed choices about what they buy, or even consumers.
Absolutely. And it really feeds into this idea that in a circular economy, we're moving away from just the one-time sales.
Right.
And Jensen digs into what he calls circular business models, where companies need to actually build these long-term relationships with their customers and not just focus on that single transaction.
So instead of buying a new phone every few years, imagine subscribing to a service that provides upgrades and repairs for a longer period.
Yeah, it's about providing an experience.
Okay.
Not just the single transaction.
Gotcha.
And he does acknowledge that there are different ways to deliver these services. Could be in-house teams, could be third-party providers, or even just letting the market figure it out.
Interesting.
But that also means that existing partners, like distributors, might need to adapt their roles.
Right.
Maybe managing the flow of refurbished products or providing repair services.
It's a whole new ecosystem.
Totally.
The chapter highlights Patagonia.
Oh, yeah.
And their Worn Wear program.
Great example.
They offer free repairs, they resell used items, and even have a recrafted collection made from garments that are too worn out to be repaired.
I love Patagonia. They're a fantastic example because they're not just talking about sustainability. They're living it.
Right.
And Worn Wear hits multiple points in the circular economy, extends product life, reduces waste, and even creates a little community around repair and reuse.
So they've kind of got that closed loop system going on.
It's really cool.
What about other big players? I know the chapter mentions IKEA and their goal to become fully circular by 2030.
Ambition.
Right, designing all their products with renewable or recycled materials.
Yeah.
And even helping customers keep their furniture longer.
That's a bold goal, and it really highlights the scale of the change that's needed because IKEA is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, to actually achieve this, they're going to need to collaborate closely with suppliers and customers, create like this whole new ecosystem around their products.
It goes back to that key point, right? That no single company can achieve circularity alone.
Yeah.
Collaboration is key.
Absolutely. It requires a shift in mindset and a willingness to work together across that entire value chain.
We can't forget about technology in all of this.
Of course not.
The chapter talks about how digital tools are crucial for making circularity more efficient and transparent.
For sure.
Imagine things like digital product passports for traceability,
Yeah.
AI-powered systems for optimizing resource use. It's like the tech world has a huge role to play
It does.
in making this whole circular economy thing actually work.
Yeah. Digital tools can help us track materials, manage resources, and even design more circular products from the very start.
That's amazing.
But it's not just about the technology itself, it's how we use it. That's where things get really interesting. It can really help us, track materials, manage resources, even design more circular products.
Right from the start.
From the start, yeah.
I'm curious about the challenges, though,
Sure.
because, it sounds great in theory,
Yeah.
but how do you actually implement these digital tools in, real-world businesses?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy.
Right.
I think one of the big challenges is just making sure that different digital systems can communicate with each other.
Right.
We don't want to create these data silos
Yeah.
where information is trapped in one system.
So interoperability is key.
Totally. It's like making sure everyone's speaking the same language.
Exactly.
Another challenge, I think, is data security and privacy,
Of course.
especially when you're dealing with, sensitive information about product life cycles and customer behavior.
Right.
We need to make sure that data is handled responsibly
Uh-huh.
and ethically.
Yeah. And of course, there's the human element.
Always.
Companies need to invest in training
Yeah,
and upskilling their workforce
absolutely.
so everyone can use these new digital tools effectively.
It's not just about the technology.
Right.
It's about the people and the processes.
Right.
It requires like a holistic approach.
Jensen also talks about this fear of missing out versus the fear of being early dilemma.
Oh, yeah. It's a big one.
A lot of companies are struggling with,
Yeah.
do we jump in now or do we wait and see how things play out?
Yeah, there's no easy answer. And Jensen uses that crossing the chasm framework by Jeffrey Moore to kind of explain how new ideas, like the circular economy, are adopted over time.
Interesting.
And so it starts, with a small group of early adopters, those
Yeah.
innovators and visionaries, but then it comes to that tricky part,
Right.
crossing the chasm to reach that mainstream market.
So how do companies successfully cross that chasm
Yeah.
and bring the circular economy into the mainstream? Patagonia seems to have done it
Patagonia is a great example.
with their worn wear program.
And they did it right, I think, because they started by targeting a really specific niche
Okay.
of environmentally conscious consumers,
Right.
built up a loyal following, and then gradually expanded their offerings to reach a wider audience.
So it's about finding the right balance between, demonstrating the value of circularity
Right.
while also addressing the concerns
Yeah. Yeah.
of the more pragmatic majority.
Exactly. It's about showing those clear economic benefits, providing those seamless service experiences, and making sure that those circular products meet, the same kind of quality and performance standard
Of course.
as traditional products.
Right. It's like any new idea.
Yeah.
You need to prove that it works.
You got to prove it.
And it's worth investing in.
Exactly. And speaking of investments,
Right.
the chapter also kind of delves into, the financial considerations
Yeah.
of shifting to a circular economy.
Yeah.
And that's a big hurdle for a lot of businesses
Hey.
because it requires a different way of thinking about costs and returns.
I can imagine there are significant upfront costs involved
Oh, for sure.
in redesigning products, retooling production processes,
Right.
implementing these new business models.
There are, and that can be a huge barrier, especially for smaller companies.
Right.
But it's important to remember that, this transition
Yeah.
doesn't have to happen overnight.
Of course.
Companies can start small. Yeah. Focus on maybe specific areas where circularity makes sense
Right.
and gradually kind of scale up their efforts.
So it's about being strategic about it,
Exactly.
not just diving in head first.
Don't just jump in.
Right.
But as companies start to see the benefits,
Yeah.
reduced material costs, increased customer loyalty,
Right.
new revenue streams,
Yeah.
then they can reinvest those gains into further circular initiatives.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
It is.
I like that.
And the chapter really emphasizes the importance of developing like a comprehensive financial roadmap.
Okay.
This kind of outlines, the costs, the investments, the projected returns, and it helps businesses secure funding, track their progress, and really demonstrate that long-term value
Of course.
of embracing circularity.
You need to have a clear plan
You got to have a plan.
and be able to show that it's financially viable.
Absolutely. It's not just about, doing good for the planet.
Right.
It's about doing good business.
The circular economy isn't just an idealistic concept.
No,
It's a practical
it's precious.
and profitable way forward.
It's about creating more resilient, efficient, and ultimately more successful businesses.
Right.
Businesses that are good for both people and the planet.
It sounds like we've covered a lot of ground in this chapter.
We have.
From redesigning products and business models to navigating this complex circular ecosystem
Yeah.
and harnessing the power of digital technologies.
It's a journey.
It really is.
And I think the key takeaway here is that the circular economy is not just a trend.
Right.
It's a fundamental shift in how we think about business and its role in society.
We've been talking about all this stuff with manufacturers.
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean for like the average person?
That's a good question because, the book focuses on manufacturers, but
Right.
the implications of a circular economy go way beyond that.
So how does this impact like consumers like you and me?
Well, in a circular economy, the role of the consumer shifts from, just being a passive buyer to being like an active participant.
Interesting.
It's about making those conscious choices that support circularity. Buying products that are designed for durability, repairability, reusing and repairing things whenever possible, and properly recycling those materials
Right.
at the end of their life.
So it's not just what companies do.
No.
It's how we engage with these products and materials.
Exactly. It's a collective effort.
Right.
And one that can really create, a more positive and regenerative relationship.
I like that word regenerative.
Yeah,
It's a more holistic way of looking at things.
for sure.
It's not just minimizing harm, but actually like restoring and replenishing.
Exactly. And that shift in mindset is key.
Yeah.
It's about seeing waste not as the end product, but as like a valuable resource
Right.
that can be fed back into the system.
The chapter also talks about how circularity can be a powerful way for businesses to differentiate themselves.
Yeah, I mean, in a world where consumers are so concerned about sustainability,
Yeah.
embracing circularity can be like a huge advantage. It allows them to showcase their commitment to the environment,
Right.
offer innovative products and services, and build, more transparent and traceable supply chains.
It's like a win-win for everyone.
Totally.
Businesses get a competitive edge, consumers get more sustainable products, and the planet benefits from less waste.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so exciting about the circular economy.
Yeah.
It's not just about solving problems.
Right.
It's about creating those new opportunities.
Opportunities for businesses to innovate, consumers to engage, and for all of us to kind of build a more sustainable future.
Absolutely.
It feels like this chapter has given us a lot to think about, from redesigning these products and business models to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Societal implications of actually shifting to a circular economy.
It really has, and hopefully it inspires people to, think about how they can apply these principles in their own lives and their own work.
Whether it's making more conscious purchasing decisions or advocating for change
Exactly.
within their organization.
Whatever it may be.
So to wrap up this deep dive into Chapter 4, Circular Economy Opportunities and Pathways for Manufacturers, let's leave our listeners with a final thought. The circular economy isn't just an idea, it's a call to action. It's asking all of us to rethink our relationship with the things we consume and to work together to build a more sustainable and equitable future.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There's this huge community of businesses, organizations, individuals working towards this goal. So connect with others, share your knowledge, and let's build a more circular world together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another exploration of fascinating ideas and groundbreaking research. Until then, keep learning and keep exploring.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you take away only 3 things our artificial friends discussed, then shifting to circularity isn't about minor tweaks. It's a profound transformation of your products, business models, and KPIs. Circular success depends on collaboration throughout your supply chain. how you incentivize teams, suppliers, customers, and partners, and the design decisions you make at every step. It's about balancing the fear of missing out with the fear of being early, so you can time this shift effectively and emerge stronger on the other side. Thanks for turning into Circular Economy Excellence. You can find more details in my book, and I'll continue sharing new insights on circularpathwaysbook.com. Until next time, keep pushing these boundaries toward a future where sustainability and profitability go hand in hand.